So my name is Kelby Dennard. I'm VP of Global Cloud Development for StratITSphere. We are a partner-centric, 100% channel-focused cloud service provider. So we offer cloud services at a wholesale basis to partners, to white label to their customers. We're based 100% off NetApp at the core, also with HP and Juniper from a networking set out of multiple sites today, being Houston and Dallas, and then expansion plans going to 4 additional sites across the United States next year.
So tell us a little bit about some of the unique aspects of sales enablement that StratITSphere brings to the NetApp channel.
So when we looked at the market a couple of years ago building this, what we saw was from a VAR community, even if we gave the tools of cloud to some of the VARs, it was still difficult for them to get off the ground. So we wanted to build a unique set of tools. So the first thing we did when we built our cloud was we actually stripped out VMware Director, even though our cloud is based off of VMware and KVM, and we brought our own set of orchestration tools in. The orchestration tools allow for 100% white label. It gives you a custom-built app store. It allows you to go in from a console perspective and can launch clouds and VMs on demand within 4 to 15 minutes, uniquely compared to some of the other players in the market and what other people are doing. Second, we also built a straight portfolio of the cloud. So instead of just handing someone the cloud on a whole, we've actually productized a lot of what we're doing, built cut sheets, data sheets around that, so that way the cloud portfolio is already built, prepackaged, so that way it's easier to go to market, as well as built-in hooks into a lot of the PSAs that are in the market. And we have our own as well to help with the billing aspects, the billing down to the hour, building the product sets, being able to build out custom commission schedules, build out the billing practices, some of those pieces as well.
So in essence, summarizing, if I'm a reseller owner or a reseller management person and I'm thinking about what it's going to take for me to build a cloud business, from a timing perspective, what does your offering do from compressing that timeline from no cloud business to having a fully operational cloud-enabled business?
Operationally, we wanted to massively shrink it, right? We understand people have multiple options. You can go out and resell somebody else's cloud that you're not white labeling. You can go build your own, or you can go to someone who's allowed the white label. We've really tried to compress that. So if you come to us with no cloud business today, within 45 to 60 days, we can get someone up completely on the cloud with a white label solution, with architecture to go to the market, sales enabled, the sales training pieces, and we'll actually help on sales calls. Within 45 to 60 days, we'll be selling an MRR-based business.
So thinking forward, you mentioned today 2 locations, South Central region based. What does the next 12 to 24 months look like for StratITSphere?
The next 12 months looks between 3 to 5 sites. We'll also drive additional sites by customer demand. So the prep is to go to the Northeast within the Q1, then add another site every quarter thereafter. So going the Northeast, North Central, Northwest, and then Southeast, along with probably 2 sites overseas, one or outside the United States, one of being Canada, and the other being either London or somewhere in the Middle East. 24 months after that, we'll probably add 2 more United States-based sites, and then everything else will be global, unless there's opportunity that's customer-driven by demand.
So from a product standpoint, just give us a little bit more of a perspective on the product offerings that are currently in market today.
Okay, so one of the easiest ways to start is we really wanted to break down the cloud, right? So a lot of people have an issue when they get to the cloud of wanting to offer everything. So we've tried to simplify it where we start with the basics. We can start with DR as a service or business continuity as a service, where you can simply replicate, go out and sell your storage platform, whatever that may be, and then replicate that into the data center. So it becomes an option on the quote. Same with the DR as a service, where you're selling the capabilities of DR with DR tests involved. So now you're selling more production or professional services. You can increase that by then doing storage as a service. So it's all wrapped around the storage piece. And then when you want to increase from there, you can add in full-blown VMs, either in a DR scenario, an active passive, or selling it as full-blown production. You can take that and replicate that to one of our other sites with the click of a button. So now all of a sudden you're selling dual site cloud. You can add in VDI. So if someone wants VDI, we have several different flavors, from normal desktops to a high compute using high tier storage to an accelerated video VDI, which is coming out Q1. And so you'll be able to offer accelerated video running AutoCAD in the cloud, which a lot of our oil and gas companies are now starting to look at. From there, there's a suite of services wrapped around the production side that you can start offering, including anything wrapped around with Citrix, anything with Semantic, anything with the Microsoft stack. So it really starts to expand to build an entire practice around the cloud.
One of the offerings actually that just in some of our initial testing and market research showed a lot of interest was the concept of a dedicated on-premise device that was fully managed. Can you give us just a little bit more data point on that?
Sure. So we saw the market where mid-market enterprise customers, they like the cloud. They like the billing model. They like being billed on a consumption-based model. They like having the flexibility where when they need more, they get more, but yet they're not having to buy multiple trays of disks or multiple compute platforms 2 to 3 years prior to them actually needing it. And so we brought out a product called Hemisphere. Again, it's 100% channel-based, but we would continue to own the gear, and it's our stack of gear, which is compute, networking, and storage, with our orchestration tools built on top for self-provisioning, build-back mechanisms, and all those features. But instead, we would actually drop it on site, or we drop it in a data center of their choice, or we could certainly put it in one of our data centers. The benefit is it is a private purpose cloud where they can deploy virtual machines in their private cloud on demand. They can bill back by department if they choose, but they could also see every other public instance of my cloud across the United States, so they could deploy a node in the public cloud as well as replication or DR as a service in a public node while executing their normal environments within their private node. And all of it's still a consumption-based model. So if they're allocating 10 terabytes or 20 terabytes or 100 terabytes of storage, that's what they would get billed for, even though we'd have more resources set on site.
So summarizing Hemisphere just one more time, Hemisphere is an on-premise, fully managed, consumption-based product that goes on the customer's site.
Absolutely.
And give us just one more time just a summary of what are the main benefits for someone who wants the benefits of cloud without the risk, right?
It gives them the ability to have a private-based cloud. You can get around some of the requirements wrapped around HIPAA or PCI or any of the other legal restraints that you have. It gives you the flexibility of having cloud-based bill models, cloud-based expansion models, the elasticity of a cloud without having a multi-tenant cloud. So it's still privately purposed.
Excellent. So I guess in just some short bursts here, right? So does the end user ever see the name StratITSphere if I'm a reseller?
No. Let me rephrase. So that would be their choice, right? So we have 10% of our resellers who don't want their name on the cloud, so they want to handle the billing mechanisms, which we won't do, but they want to have our name on it, which we're fine with doing. 90% of our VARs or our partners completely white label our solution with their name, which they will never see our name or see our contracts, because my contracts with the VAR, which our contracts are only 30 days, regardless of what the VAR is charging for their contracts to their customers, but they would not see us.
And I'm a NetApp reseller, or frankly, I'm an infrastructure reseller with a tremendous amount of expertise and a services capability. How does that complement this offering?
So multitude. We're a platinum partner with NetApp, and so the nice part is that all the NetApp reps will be double comped through the selling of the solution, but you can also easily enable to be able to either replicate 7 mode or cluster mode into our data center. So go sell all the NetApp you want, simply add a SKU on the bottom to replicate the data. You get it at a wholesale rate, you mark it up. Typical margins from our cloud to our partners are anywhere between 30 and 60%. And they would add their typical marks and then sell it to their customer, and then we would just replicate it. You can have direct connects into our data center, so you can connect by a point-to-point. You can add an MPLS connection in. You can go through VPN. However, it's convenient for their customers, and they can replicate it, and they'll take margin off of it.
So Kelby, thanks for showing us around and taking a look at the Houston facility here. Would you mind giving us a look at the product as well and giving us the perspective from a reseller experience?
Absolutely. We can do a quick demo of the systems itself and the capabilities of the orchestration tools.
For our sales BDM organization, this is going to be posted on Sales Motion, so please see the contact information that we've got posted out there on how to get in touch with Kelby and his team in order to engage any specific partner or partner opportunities you think would be applicable here.
If we talk about the process, right, of onboarding a partner, it becomes pretty easy, right? There's obviously a mutual NDA that we go through to protect us both. And then there's 3 documents. There's the Master Services Agreement, which is a quick document saying that we will do what we say we're going to do. It doesn't lock into long-term contracts. It only gears us for 30-day contracts. We can certainly do longer, but the goal was not to lock our partners in. We want to do what we say we do, which will generate a longer-term relationship. Our SLAs, which is another one we want signed off on, we'll guarantee 100% SLA, and we guarantee it in contract with kickbacks. And so we want to make sure that that's signed and we're all on the same page from that perspective. And then we have a partner engagement document that we sign, and really just it levels out which partner program you want to go into, whether you want us to leave our names on the page or whether you want to white label it yourself, or what involvement do we want to have from the business perspective. And so it's a 3 simple steps, and if you choose the white label side, then there's a white label form that takes us through the marketing steps, the websites that we're going to build out in order for the white label pages for the orchestration tools. In about 45 days, then we're up and running as we're going through the sales motions during that process. And so there's 3 pieces of our orchestration tools that we give today when setting up a white label to resell our services. There'll be a 4th piece added, which will allow the VAR to be able to minutely look at the resource pools that they're running to, which will be added by the end of this year, end of January of next year. But the first 3 pages are set up are pretty simple. These are all set up today when you're looking at them. These are all set up as a StratITSphere. Understand that all of these pages are custom coded with the colors, logo brands, everything as the partner. So even though they say StratITSphere today, they're set up as a partner, and so these would all be refreshed with the partner's logo and everything else. So first of all, it's daisy chained off of the existing partner's website. So if it's a VAR ABC, then this could become cloud.abc.com. So it looks like exactly like it's part of the website, like their website, even though it's sitting within our data center itself. The 3 pieces you get is you get a front-end app store. You get a cloud console, which internally, if you're doing managed services and managing the environment, which is probably where you would deploy gear. And then you get an admin side, which is where you set up all of the pricing structures, you set up all the promotion codes and everything else. To go through it, so this is the little home landing page. If you went to, let's say, cloud.stratisphere.com, this would be the landing page for it. You get several different pages. You have a support page, a company page, pricing, app store, and home. So the first page you get is the App Store. You click on it. The App Store, what's nice about it is it allows you to build templates that your customers can custom deploy. So this really comes into play when we're talking about Hemisphere product and them deploying our own private cloud, but also can be used in the other public cloud. So you get an App Store. What's nice about it actually separates the OS from the VM template. So you can set up anything that can be custom deployed within the environment. There are some exceptions. For instance, like Exchange, you can't build a template for your customers because of the fact that it is so specialized within the environment. But you could load a Windows Server 2012 and then turn around and deploy Exchange as an ISO to do the install. But obviously, we have several just set up as a demo set, which is you have CentOS, which is Linux. You have the SharePoint 2010, SQL, Server 2008, and Server 2012, and then you have some of the web editions. When you click on the app, we have 14 set up today, but there's actually 20 within production. It gives you a screenshot of what the operating system looks like, and then you have 20 quick launch servers. The servers themselves are built to deploy a certain number of cores for the virtual CPUs, and also gigs of RAM. It gives you an hourly cost and the estimated monthly cost. And it becomes very easy for the value-added reseller or the customer to come in, look at the price that they want to pay or the size of box that they want, and then simply click launch. When they click launch, it takes them to a shopping cart page, which is all managed off of the backside that we'll show you. It gives you, that shows you what you're going to get. This is only set up with a recurring charge of $25. All the pricing is set where the partner can change all the set pricing. We are not managing any of the pricing sets. So this brings you to a shopping cart. It lines out what server that they're buying. It lines out a price, which is the monthly recurring, but there's also a setup fee charge. In this model today, within the demo, we only charge a recurring model of $25, so it doesn't show the setup fee. It does give you promotion code, so I do want to show you that later. In today's instance, we'll show a promotion code called demo, which is on our demo environment. And then you can see that it gives the shopping cart where you can say you want to check out. Our systems give you the availability to see who's buying it and then select whether you want to take credit card, bank transfers, or ACH debits, mail-in payments, which are net 30s as well, or accept through PayPal. Once you do that, you would select complete order, and you would wait, and the system itself will be able to provision the server as you're sitting there. On average, the server, like a CentOS box, will provision in about 4.5 minutes, and a Windows box in about 15. There's 3 emails that are kicked off when you do this, one of which is to the value-added reseller, letting them know that somebody bought a server. Then you have another one sent to the customer, which is an invoice of immediately for the setup fee of the box. And then there'll be a third one that comes in after the server is provisioned, giving them the IP address to log into, the admin password, and the admin ID to log into and actually configure the box. So all 3 of those are sent within CentOS about 4.5 minutes to auto provision of the systems themselves. There's also 3 other sets. You have a pricing tab. The pricing tab lets the value-added reseller list the pricing that they want to have for the amount of RAM, gigs of storage, IP addresses, but also if they want to add in other systems. So professional services, managed services, any type of project management, anything of that nature, they can set that in here so that way they can start selling to their customers, and they can set up custom codes as well. So we're not just limiting the portal to just cloud solutions, so you can expand on that. You have a support page, which will show you that within the backend admin side. The support page gives you the availability to take help desk tickets or for them to open support tickets. And then you have a company page. And the company page is just a brief breakdown of where you're located and if they want to submit a form or a message to you. So those are the 5 basic pages of the front end of our orchestration tools, which are pretty easy to manage. The next set you get is console. The console is going to be more like a director-based page. It gives you a GUI interface to control your VMs, manage your VMs, look at your VMs. Again, everything is all color-coded. They're built to your color specs of your logos, and then we add your logos in. There's daisy chain on the back end of your website, so it'd be like console.abccompany.com, so that way you can log in. What's nice about the system itself is it gives you a holistic view of all of your customers, where they're running the VMs, what their VMs are doing, but you can also give access to your customers so they can control their VMs, and they would only see that the VMs under their environment themselves, so you can see 2 different sides of the world. The dashboard page of the console gives you an idea of how many VMs are running, stopped, total VMs, the latest events, and then the network, how many isolated and or public IP addresses that you're running And these are all custom fielded, so you can move some stuff around. The next tab is instance. So what's nice about the instance is it gives you a couple different views. It gives you a name view where you can see the name of the VM. It gives you a display name so you can go in and name the VM. It gives you a zone. And to us, every zone is a production zone. So today, Houston and Dallas, or our demo zone. It also could be any zone that we're going to roll out next year across the United States, or a private zone if we roll out a Hemisphere, which the private zones can only be seen by the people that we give them access to. So what's nice about the zones is the fact that holistically you can see where all your customers are deploying VMs, and then and within what zone that they're putting them in. On this screen, there's a couple quick views you can look at. It gives you the availability to stop the VM. You can reboot it. You can actually destroy the VM. So if the customer no longer wants it, they can actually destroy the VM and quit paying for it. You can reset the VM. You can attach an ISO file, which is either one that we have within the bank or whether you upload it yourself. You can reset the admin password on it. You can change service, which is actually pretty important. So if you deployed a box that was a certain size and then you realized you needed more resources or less, you could simply stop the VM, and when it stopped within a minute or so, you could click on change service and then select a different size VM, more or less resources, and then restart it. At that point, it would change the service level and bill you on the pro rate for the additional resources. And then View Console gives you an admin view through a JavaScript of the VM itself. So there's some quick icons of how you control and what you do. Unless you want to get into the VM, you hit View Console. The other thing you can do is you can actually launch an instance from here. So instead of using the App Store, if you want to launch an instance, you can come in here. It gives you an interface. You can select the zone. So today we've allowed the demo zone to see the Houston zone for this demo. So if you notice, if I wanted to deploy in our Houston production zone, I would click on that. If I wanted just to deploy in the demo zone, I can click it there. This also gives us the availability where if you wanted to run a 30-day demo or a 15-day demo of Exchange 2012 for a customer and then move that into production, we can actually do that with a click of a button without having to destroy the VM and actually totally rebuild the environment. We can just migrate that from a demo to production since we have like environments. Once you select the zone, you can build off a template or an ISO. Again, there's multiple ways to do that. There's 3 types of templates. There's featured templates, which are the ones that I guarantee, like Server 2008 or Server 2012 or SQL, and we'll choose Server 2008 R2. You can also do a community, which community is the other value-added resellers or partners that we have. You can drop out templates to share, but there's not going to be ones that I guarantee unless we find out that they're corrupt, and then we'll remove them. And then you have your templates, and you can upload and build your own golden images, so that way if your Tier 3 guys are building out your templates, then you can pass along the build mechanisms to your Tier 2 guys to help operationalize your business. It makes it more cost-effective. So you select your operating system, you hit next, then you have all your different cloud levels. Since it's a Windows environment, let's say we wanted 2 cores, 4 gigs of RAM, so we'll choose this box. Then you can add additional storage. In production, they're larger sizes. You can go up to a terabyte on the fly of multiple disks. So in here, we'll go ahead and add a terabyte of disks to it, which is secondary storage. You can add it to an existing network that you have, or you can click on New Network and type in a new network name here if you would like, and uncheck the default. And then you'd review your purchase or the VM that you were creating. You would add a name to it, you would add it to a group name, and then you would hit Launch VM. Windows environment is again about 15 minutes, but as you can see, you can go into this way, which is different than the App Store, but so it gives you more granular control, takes a few extra minutes, but it's a nice way to deploy. From the template side, I'll jump down to templates. So you can build your own templates. It's really easy. You can actually build them on your side. Within VMware, it's an OVA file, and you would simply give it a name. You would then give it a description. You would give it a URL that our system can pull from. tell us what zone you wanted to push it to, so whether it's the demo mode or the Houston mode, the hypervisor, which in demo is only going to be VMware, the format, the operating system type, and then you would make it extractable. You could password protect it, and if you wanted to drop in the community folder, you could make it public, and you would hit OK. It would take whatever time to transmit that, upload it into our system, and then it would show up under your templates, so that way you could start deploying your golden image as a server. So you have the availability to create golden images as well. Storage. So what's nice about the storage is you control the snapshotting. So you can come over here, you can take an instant snapshot, which this takes basically a VM clone, or you can set up a reoccurring. All templates and snapshots are stored on our 7.2K disk storage, so it's the cheaper storage, so that way it lowers the cost of backups. It is a VMware type full VM snap, and so if you want file level recovery, you will want to deploy a system like either a semantic product that you can get from an MRR-based solution from us, a StorageCraft, or a Commvault. Or if there's another product that they want to use, you can certainly upload your own. To set up a snapshot, you would just click on a reoccurring snapshot. You would select either hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, whatever you wanted to keep, the time after the hour that you wanted to run it, your existing time zone, and then how many copies that you want to keep. And it literally just will keep, let's say if I want to keep 7 copies, it would just make 7 snapshots, and after that it would start overwriting. So it's very easy to take your own snapshots, and again, it's something we wanted to make sure the VARs had the capabilities of, instead of us mandating the type of backup requirement on the system. Networking, it gives you a couple different views. This is the virtual network. You can view the IP addresses. Obviously, this is the NAT, so this is the outside IP address. You can come over here and you can click on the IP address. It'll give you the configuration window. So in this one, you can see that we've enabled the firewall setting on it. If you go to the other one, you can actually see the full set. So you can see the fact that you have access to a firewall, a load balancer, and port forwarding, all of which you can create on your own and your own rules. If you need something with a lot more feature function, because we're running Juniper, we can give you a virtual SRX that you would load on a virtual Windows box, and it would give you the full capabilities of a full enterprise firewall. If you notice as well, we've enabled VPN, which is really, really easy on this set. You basically just come over here, click the plus sign, and you would hit enable VPN. We've already enabled it, and about 3 minutes later, an IPsec tunnel pops up. To see it, you actually just come over here, click on VPN. You can add a username and password. Here's the IPsec share key, and here's the IP address, and you can enable VPN of a user or a system to come directly in without having to come to us. So we've really tried to build the system to be self-service, self-functioning, but if you need our help, we will certainly be there for you. And then the last slide is events. So the events page gives you an idea of anything that someone's doing inside of your portion of the environment, if you're seeing errors or if everything's all good. So you can come in here and successfully see that something completed and what was going on with it. So this gives you an overview of the console, the functionality within the console, how to quickly manage and run the VMs and see them, and be able to play around with them. The final piece we give is an admin tool. This is the administration summary. This is where you would come in and set your pricing. So you can come in here and it gives you a quick view. If a value-added reseller today does not have a PSA tool like ConnectWise or Autotask, one of those, and they're building off of Excel, they can certainly move into something like this, which is an MRR-based billing model, and then they can export to CSV to bill out of, even to upload from a P&L perspective, upload into QuickBooks or Dynamics or whatever they're using. So it does give you those tools. In here, it gives the ability to see pending orders. So there's multiple ways to set up things. So if you notice, these things are pending here because of the way that we have the VM set. And so you click on them, it'll clear it out, and it actually will build out the servers now. You can also see active orders of what's going on. You can see fraud orders, canceled orders. You can see your billing, so you can see your invoices, paid, unpaid, overdue. You can run reports, performance reports, or income reports. One of the neat things that we can do is, from a payments perspective, again, we can set up a credit card, PayPal, ACH debits. Those are independent of the value-added reseller. If they want to accept it, it actually doesn't come to us, but so we'll help set up the gateways and the merchant accounts. You can also set up promotions, and so if we do events, as you earn MDF funds, then you come over here, you can create a promotion. If you did a golf tournament, you could call it at that. You could give away, you give them free setup if you wanted. You could apply it to everything that you wanted to, set up a billing cycle for it, start date, end date, the maximum number of uses. So it gives you the availability to run some more complicated pricing discounts automatically within the system. And then you can see that we're also setting up products and services. So you could come in here and you would set up, we would help you set up your products and services. So your different cloud level services, you would click on this. This gets you in to edit them. So we're going to give you wholesale pricing. You come in, we help you fill out this site information and the welcome emails. You would add your pricing from a setup fee and a price per MRR fee. And then you would go through and cycle, depending if you want to prorate, if you don't. Those are all your choices you want to make. So we're not going to back you into how you have to build. We're really going to sit down and discuss how you want to build your cloud model. So this gives you an overview of the demo portal, of the services that are offered within it, how you function within it, and we'd be interested to do a deeper dive and get you access to our demo systems to truly show you how you function. So we appreciate you taking the time, seeing what we have to offer, seeing the capabilities that we have brought to market, and how we want to change the face of how partners buy cloud services and how we offer them in a white label scenario to our partners.